Welcome back to Chapter 2 of In Aunt Lucy's Kitchen. Now, yesterday we started this book, and in this book, there are 3 cousins who live together in their Aunt Lucy's house. And they just moved into her house because their parents are all in the ballet and they're traveling the world. Can you remember why they don't want to travel the world with their parents? Well, in the book, they talk about how the girls don't want to go to boarding school and they don't want to live in hotels. They want to live together in a nice house, and so they move into the attic of their Aunt Lucy. Now, the interesting thing about this book there are 3 main characters, the cousins. And I want to talk a little bit about the fact that readers notice how characters are different from each other before we start reading this book. Because sometimes when there's 3 characters that are very similar, it's kind of hard to keep track of which one's which. There's 3 girls, but they're all very different. Just like you're different than your friends, even though you're all the same age. And so sometimes it helps to write down and notice how are they different or how that character is. We call those character traits. So that we can keep track of who's who in the book. So let's think about who our 3 main characters are. And I'll write them down. And then we can write a little bit about what we know about the characters. Okay, so let's take a look at my book. I'm going to turn to the page where they start talking about what the girls' rooms look like. Okay, so there's Lily. Okay, and it says, I remember this, Lily writes poems. This is an important part about her. She writes poems. And sometimes what people are interested in or collect makes them different. She collects rabbits. Okay, that's enough for now. Now, who's next? Okay, now there's Rosie. Remember her room? This one right here? Rosie seems like she would be fun. Rosie likes stained glass windows. I wonder if that'll come back in the book another time. And she collects paper dolls. Okay. There's one more cousin who lives with them, and that is Tess. Tess is the one with the palm trees in her bedroom. Remember, they're all in the same room, but they have different areas in their attic. Okay, she likes to sing, and she collects records, which is an old-fashioned way of playing music. I think most of us we've talked about this before. Okay, now remember, there's something special about all of them. We'll call this the cousins. They are all 9 years old. And Lily and Rosie are sisters. Okay, that's going to help us keep track of our characters as we read our book. Now, they moved in with Aunt Tess for the summer, and they were talking about, they had a little bit of a problem. They were saying, how are we going to do, what summertime thing are we going to do so we're not bored? And they decided they're going to have a cookie company. Because everybody likes cookies. Okay, Chapter 2, Deliveries. A few days later, the Cobble Street Cookie Company received its first order. Hello, is this the cookie company? Asked a woman's voice. Yes, it is, said Rosie excitedly. May we help you? The woman asked Rosie to deliver 1 dozen fresh-baked cinnamon crinkles to her apartment on Friday. Her book club was having a meeting. Rosie took the order, hung up the phone, and nearly fainted with delight. Just then, the phone rang again. Someone was having a birthday party. Could the company deliver some cookies? Soon after that, the phone rang again. Someone was home from the hospital. Could the company make some cookies, please? Rosie wrote down the orders as fast as she could. When finally the phone stopped ringing, she called to the other girls. Lily, Tess, we have customers. The next day, the cousins put on their aprons and baked all morning long. Lily was in charge of pouring the ingredients. Rosie was in charge of mixing. Tess rolled up the little balls of dough. While the cookies baked, the girls dreamed of what they would do if the cookie company made them rich. I'm going to move to New York, said Tess. I'll live in a penthouse and go to Broadway musicals every single day, and I'll have an Irish setter. I'd like a little cottage, said Rosie, with flowers and a fish pond and lots of stained glass. I am going to travel, said Lily, to China or India or Africa. I'll wear flowing scarves and carry a canary and ride on trains. Did you notice that we just learned something new about these characters? We'll have to make sure we add that to our list later. Ding, ding. Cookies are ready, everyone cried. And by afternoon, the cousins had 4 dozen cookies made and ready to deliver. They put on fresh dresses, tucked bows in their hair, and kissed Elliot goodbye. The first stop was the brick apartment building 2 blocks over on Vine Street. It was a wonderful old building with stone lions guarding the front and topiary trees. Do you see the trees there? I'll bet there's some stained glass in this building, said Rosie as the girls rang the buzzer for apartment 5. A woman's voice answered, yes. Cookie company, said Tess loudly. Lily giggled. Tess was so professional. Come right in, said the woman, and she buzzed the girls through the entry door. Bzzz. The hallway floors were marble, shiny, hard stone, and the beautiful fountain with cherubs stood just inside the door. Cherub, that's an interesting word. Look at this fountain and see if you can figure out what a cherub is. Wow, said Rosie, letting the water splash on her fingers. The girls smoothed down their hair and checked each other's bows, then knocked on the door of apartment 5. Presently, the door opened, and a very tall woman in a suit and high heels smiled at them. She had large gold earrings and very red lipstick. Wonderful, she said. Do come in. The cousins stepped into apartment 5. They passed through a narrow foyer, then into the living room. Wow, said Rosie again. The living room really was a living room, for it was filled with enormous indoor plants. Tall tropical trees raised their giant leaves to the ceiling. Vines trailed across windowsills. Cacti bloomed with scarlet flowers. There were even orchids growing on a window seat. Interesting. Well, we remembered that the woman called because somebody had come home from the hospital. So I wonder who that could be. We are going to have to continue chapter 2 tomorrow of In Aunt Lucy's Kitchen.